Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Grateful to be here. I want to thank my partners again, Family First. I partner with them all over the country. They bring me in to help bring value to you. And that's what today's all about. Hopefully bringing some value. But I always want to ask you guys the question, what's going to be important from my working? That's okay. Let's just turn off this one. What would be considered a good day for you guys today? What do you want out of today?
Referrals.
Referrals? What kind of ideas or strategies or something you need help with today? What's your biggest challenge?
Conversion.
Lead conversion? Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah. What's that? Widening our markets. Yeah, is inventory tight here?
Yeah.
You know, I have the privilege too. I coach teams, I coach agents, I coach top producing offices, and everywhere I've seen, other than maybe 5 different markets, inventory's tight. Right? There's a few little gaps in the market. No rhyme or reason to a lot of it, but sometimes I always ask because I can't make an assumption. Right? So if you get good listings today, you get good business. It's going to sell fairly quickly, and everyone has different marketplaces. So that being said, I was asked to speak on 2 different topics today. One very personal to me called 7 Streams of People. And that being said, it was created from my own business and the problems I had when I was running my own real estate practice. I've been both an agent, a team, and a brokerage owner. I've owned 4 or 5 brokerages at the same time. And guess what? I made a lot of mistakes too. Right? As an agent, as a brokerage, I'll be happy to share any of the mistakes I made over the 30-some years. I was licensed in 1988 when I don't think they had the fax machine yet. Who was around there? Right? Remember that fax machine invention, that magical thing? It was actually considered the most magical thing ever. Now look where we are. So how many of you don't like change? Be honest. Because if I ask you if you're on social media and adapting to all that, who's with me? I'm like, who doesn't like change? Let's be real. Well, guess what? Look where you are today. Look where you came, when you said, oh, the mobile phone, or this, or the technology, or now doing e-sign, and DocuSign, and .loop. Like, we just have to get over that because we've changed. So, my 7 streams of people came out of need. I ran into, as you probably have felt the pain of having a cash flow problem in real estate. Right? Could you imagine? I said, is that possible? Of course. We live in a cash flow problem business. And I made a living at this, so I had to find some solutions myself. That being said, I referred back to some of the most successful books and people in the world, and when you ask anybody that's a successful entrepreneur, they're going to tell you that they made their wealth from a couple different things. And they said that they needed multiple streams of income. You've seen books, there's a lot of information about that, it's not even a secret, so that's where it stemmed from. And the truth is that when one source of income is coming in strong, there's always another one that's suffering, and the other multiples are making up the factors, because let's face it, not all markets are the same, and markets will shift. In a month, in a year, in 5 years, so let's get used to that too. Markets will shift. The good news is, if we're good at what we do, we'll make money in any market. We just have to adapt, right? While I'm not big on the stock brokerage business, I stay out of that because it's not my space, but they'll tell you too, you make money up and down. The only time you don't make money, and the same goes for real estate, is when it just does nothing. Isn't it true? Like, can we make money in a changing down market?
Yes.
Yeah, it's how you compete. You're going to take business from somebody else because somebody else isn't going to go do the work. Right? That's truth. If you're going to go in an up market, you have to be differentiated now on how you're going to capitalize and have systems to do volume. So it always shifts. So we took the same concept and said, this was for me, that the business hasn't changed as far as being people. I don't care how much tech, and I was the vice president of tech for a large franchise brand for years, and I got put into a tech box. I wasn't good at tech guy. Tech means nothing to me. If it can't help a system move people forward, make my career be able to scale and service better, or do something that's going to make it easier, right? I look at it as like, if tech doesn't work like the light switch, do you know how much work goes into the light switch to make the light go on? I don't care how all that works. All I know is when I turn it on, I want it to work, right? That's good tech. I just want to help my customers better, and it's still always been a people business. It hasn't changed, and it's not going to change. It's still about the people. They live in, own, and rent the homes. To me, real estate's the product. The product. We're in the people business. So if I went down the same path and said to be successful in real estate, what did I need? I needed more streams of people. And I'm going to explain this in much greater detail. But for me, I had to sit down and analyze it. For me, my number was 7. I needed to have 7 streams of people producing referral-based business in order to solve some of my cash flow problems. That's going to get very simple. I'm going to go deep into this. So we'll understand what a stream is. We're going to identify maybe what some of the streams you have or don't have. I'm going to share with you the problems I had in my streams and why I call them streams. But to me, the groups of people that I do business with are streams of, it's almost like streams of leads, except I'm talking to people now. So let's go to here for a second. Here's the typical real estate sales cycle. We're always somewhere up and down, right? We have peaks and valleys. I had 5 deals today, 2 fell apart, 1 stays together, a turn review falls apart. But in general, our sales cycle is very cyclical. That look familiar? Right? Some are pain points. However, some of you were there. 1 step from stepping off that edge. And you know that because you had a transaction or 2 and they're no longer here. And then they fell apart, right? Some of you know, I see the faces, because I know that pain. And some things are beyond our control. However, some people don't understand it's beyond our control. It's just they want to blame somebody and it's how it goes. But there are factors that we can't control. So the one thing I have to look at is the one thing that we tend to, as a problem in the industry, now I'm not going to look at you in the room, but as an industry, this is the problem. And if you're thinking today, about just you in the room, I want you to think further. Like who else in your office, who else in your network, in your company needs to maybe hear some of this after we're done. So think through you, because I think it's not just us that has this challenge, it's the industry, is we put 3 or 4 transactions under contract or ratified, as we talk, some different language, right? And then what happens? What's the one thing we stop doing? We stop doing the work that gets us the next. And we spend our waking hours for the next 3 or 4 deals praying to get these deals closed because we need that money because it's already been spent, or we've got kids in college or grandkids or whatever's going on, and we stop doing the work that got us the 3 or 4 transactions, and that's what creates the peak and valley. And I never forget the days where I closed 3, I had amazing ones, closed 5, 6, 7, 8 transactions, and then none or 1. Like, what the heck? And 1 is a long 1. It's like 2 months because I stopped, the pipeline dried. So it's not even just 1 month, sometimes it's 2 or 3, and then maybe 2 or 3 more. But my mortgage company didn't care, my car company didn't care. No one else really cares, right? Because that's not how our business is. So we have to kind of work on how do we keep that funnel. So I had to realize, okay, where did I get the 3 or 4 transactions, and where did I fail getting more of them? So yeah, prospecting stops. So the number one thing we have to look at is when we get momentum of transactions, we have to use them as leverage to get more. Like we tend to work on them to close them, and we have to service them and make sure they're customers. Like we know all the nuances that happen, right? From inspections to issues and termites and all sorts of fun stuff. But we have to still leverage those transactions that we're selling to go win more. That's where we have to use the leverage. And if I say leverage builds momentum. And I'll prove it by asking you to tell me what's the first word that comes to your mouth when I show you this next picture. What's the first word? Ready?
Work.
What is it? Work?
Hard.
Uphill? Hard?
Stupid.
Stupid. It's silly.
Really?
That's right. Think about this. People that get into real estate that don't know how to prospect and talk to people could really hurt themselves too.
Yeah.
They can hurt their families and everyone else around them because they're not doing the work. It's painful. My number one thing to me is, and this is how unfortunately real estate is sometimes, is don't stop. It's 2 words actually. If he stops, it stops. Right? If he stops, it falls. And unfortunately, you know what happens when we stop. Unless we have other systems in place, if we can't do what we do for a living and perform, and get out there and service that client and prospect new clients, we have a problem. It's a pain point. Is that true? Yeah. Right? And there's a lot of other models that are coming out to try and take care of like residual income and this income, but at the end of the day, we still need to be able to stay healthy and be able to do our job or it stops. Right? So let me identify a stream for like the sake of the definition. Now this is mine, this isn't a book. This is just my problems that I put into a presentation to understand what solved my problems. And it solves a lot of others that we coach and work with. So a stream to me is this. It's a group of people that bring you a consistent referral base, at least on a quarterly basis. I won't say monthly. Monthly is always better, but at least quarterly. So a group of people, and I'm going to give you examples, that's consistently giving referrals. Now we're going to find that we're going to call something streams of people that aren't giving a steady referral base. And we're going to identify them. But when you have 7 streams of people giving you referrals on a quarterly basis, the cash flow problems will change. I'm going to share with you. Now, we either have this, we either are going to define today a moving stream, or it's going to be stale. And stale is stale. And I'll share with you my stale ones that I had to actually go back and correct because I wasn't getting referral-based right. I made assumptions that that was a good group of people to work with, and I wasn't getting the benefit of that. All right, powerful streams, and I use nature in this today because water is powerful. You guys live down by the water, you know better than anybody, right? And I talk to people in Florida, like, oh yeah, we get it. Like, we understand power of water. But at the same time, to me, when you can have that much power, these are the top producers in the world that are moving mountains, truthfully. They don't have any more magic than us. Some of you are probably in the room. It's not magic. It's how are they doing the work and structuring their day and where they're spending their time, right? The power there. Now, you'll see others where we're going to talk about having multiple streams come together into one. Sometimes that's a team, sometimes that's a brokerage, but multiple streams will bring power to it. So here's what we want to solve. We were there, and I'm not going to say it's going to solve all cash flow problems. However, it may build a little bit of a bridge where they're less deep and less tall. Some consistency. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Right? All right, so let's go there. When I was doing this research on some of this using nature, I didn't realize this was by default, and my number 7 was picked like 20 years ago when I was finding 7 streams. But Mother Nature proved it too. I didn't know this. 7 of the most powerful bodies of water in the country. 7. All lead to one. All connect to one powerful stream. Where is it? Where is it? Niagara Falls. Never knew that it was 7. There's all 7. They all interconnect, believe it or not, you can't follow it up, they all interconnect to one powerful stream right there. And that's it. So think about that as your resources, like, where are my streams? Who are they? How do they connect? Do I have enough? Because if I have to make a bet, we don't have enough that are powerful streams. We have a lot, but they're not producing for us. So let's dive deep, right? Let's go a little deep. So if I need 7, I have to look at my marketing area and say, okay, if I'm prospecting and farming an area, a town, a city, where are they? Where do I connect with the people? Like, the end game is, this is actually what got me to real estate, is a little history before you saw some of the sales stuff. I was in real estate in '88, I took a 10-year hiatus into the corporate world in sales. I jumped back into real estate, but before I got my real estate license, I was in college, and my first, what's called real job, I started at 14, my first real job was sales in the Caribbean islands. I was like, wow, that's awesome. Not really. I lived in New Jersey. I was on a plane every week in between classes to St. Martin and Aruba. And it was cool, except I just hit the ground, sold in a suit in 95-degree weather, not knocking on doors. I looked like Doogie Howser in a suit in the islands. It was really odd. But I learned how to sell quickly. What happened was, every time I flew, we'd take off. Because I was young, I didn't fly much. It was just the first time flying. I would look at all the rooftops, these subdivisions and developments. And I would just look all the time, not even having my license yet. Going, oh my God, look at the opportunity of all these homes. Imagine if we could just sell those. Like, how much money is there when you look at it from that perspective? But now I look at it and go, okay, how do I get to know all those people? Because if I got all these people to like and trust me, my business is different. How do you get to know all these people? Like, wouldn't business be that easy if I could just do that? But it's not that easy, is it? It is not getting to know all these people. So we have to find some ways to connect to those people, because that's the homes we want to sell. We just have to know, where are they? How do I find them? How do I meet them? Where do they go to school? Where do they go to work? Where do they get their coffee? Like, those are things we have to start, because if I said you are all tasked to go meet all these people, I mean, some obvious ones, you would knock on their door. What else would you do?
Get involved in their community events.
Get involved in their community events. Yeah, find out what events they're going to. Maybe they have children. Find out, where do they take their children? Where do I participate in that? Where do they go in the morning before they go to work? Where do they go have lunch? What do they do after hours? What sports do they play? You have to think about that, because really, if I said, go know all those people to like and trust you, does your business not change?
Yes.
Of course it does. It's people. If I said to you, you all have a database of 500 people, 500, but in 2 years it went to 1,200 in your database of people you know, does your business change?
Yeah.
So the answer sounds simple. We know there's a lot of work behind it, but I gotta sometimes make it simple, because it's a lot of work to figure that out. So we have to go over those ideas. And it is work. It's not a secret. So my goal is, how do we find them? How do we get more of them? So I'm going to give you my 7 streams that were mine. I don't expect them to be yours, but I'm going to tell you why. You could write mine down. Actually, if you don't know this, I'm going to give you all my slides. Actually, Barbara Rittman from Family First will have a slide deck of all my PDFs of all this. So if you want my slides, I'll be happy to share them with you. Just take notes, but everything I have is yours. Okay? I just ask that you don't float them around on social and share them to the universe because they are my confidential slides, but they'll be yours. Is that fair?
Yes.
You're welcome. So let's go over mine, but I want you to start to jot down yours as they make sense. Okay? My first stream of people, I was wrong. It was my sphere. Everyone talks about a sphere.
Yeah.
Oh, I got my sphere. But you know what? Then I stopped and worked on my business one day and said, how much business have I really gotten in the past 6 months from my sphere? And the answer was none.
Yeah.
And then I even looked and said, my own brother didn't buy his house with me. Really? I'm like, so wait a minute. Why do I just assume my sphere? Now, you might have a different sphere, but I had to look at myself in the mirror and go, no, that's not working. But you know what? That was kind of my fault. Here's why I made the mistake. And I don't assume it, because if I had made that assumption, I'd have still been doing the same up and down business. Here was my problem. Not only did I just make assumptions that my sphere was going to send me the business, I didn't do a good enough job teaching them, not just how to give me business, but how to go out and market for me. Like what to look for, what to listen for. And I had to actually make a conscious decision to go to my sphere and say, hey John, he's a cousin of mine, listen, hey, I know you work for this large company, you know I'm hustling in real estate, I'm looking to grow my business. Do me a favor, anybody that comes up at work or you're here looking for a rental or that's moving or job relocation, please, I have to plant those seeds in his head to say, please take my stack of cards and hand them out to those people as you hear real estate. I almost had to train their mind to kind of be the extension for me. Of course, I'm also telling him I want his referral when he's ready, but at the same time, I have to teach him how to go out and be that advocate for me. Or my mother she's working for like the daycare, she's retired, she's doing stuff at the kids' school. You know how many moms and dads are dropping off, but she's thinking she's like a mom doing her thing. But hey mom, as you're talking to people and you hear, oh, so-and-so's not going to coming back to school, they might be moving. Please be that. So I had to work that, right? It wasn't just like I'm sending emails to everybody. I had to explain to them. So that was my one biggest oof that I had to correct. It took a while. It took probably 6 months to figure it all out, and that was work. But eventually I got it turned around. Because it wasn't long before, as I started talking to people, they're like, oh, actually, my neighbor just, like, magically they just remembered that the neighbor that was cutting the grass they talked to a week ago thought they were going to retire soon or something. So I made them go to work for me, right? And someone will do that for you, right? Anybody have one of those problems with their sphere?
Yeah.
Not getting, right? So it's tough. Sometimes it's hard to realize, like, why don't they give me any business? So the only way you can correct that is to teach them. 2 for me, and was for me, not for everybody, was my BNI group. Now, here's the difference of the stream. My sphere is a group of people that are isolated in this world of friends and family. My BNI group at the time started at small, and I became the president of it and built it to 40. But this was a group of people, as you know, you've seen BNIs, whatever they are. But to me, it was 40 people with the opportunity to potentially give me business and refer each other business. Now, that's not easily said. Did I eventually get business from it? The answer is yes. So here's what started to happen. When else would I have had a chance to honestly sit together with 40 other business owners in my community? We're all pretty busy, aren't we? We don't have time sometimes to see our own family. When would you have time to meet with 40 business owners? So for me, the answer would have been never. Wouldn't do it. However, if I started to get 1 or 2 referrals from them a month or every other month, is that good for my business? Yes. See, now if I get 1 or 2 from my sphere and I get 1 or 2 from my BNI group, now I'm building that multiple stream thing, the income stuff, right? The streams of income. So I just said to myself, and this is the same scenario, and I'll do this all day. I'll say, if you gave me $5, now I want to make sure your husband's going to approve this now, and I gave you 10 back. Is that okay? You gave me 5.
My husband will never hear it.
Answer. I love it. Good. We would do that all day. When I have people that argue with me, even in today's world, I'll have people get angry with, oh, I hate Zillow, or I hate Realtor.com, or I hate this, or I hate that. I'll say, stop hating something. If you actually did the work, now, a lot of it's on our own. Like we hate something because we didn't do our job and we're not good at closing leads, or we didn't even call people back, but we just say they stink. However, if for whatever reason I spent $200, but I converted a transaction that generated $1,000, I would do that with anybody that was legitimately on board. Sure? Why not? So for me, I look at this as if I can get 1 or 2 referrals from this group that I would never have a chance to meet normally, how do I go find more of them? What other groups or streams of people can I go find that I'm going to get that from? Now, if that doesn't work, I mean, you got to give it time. A year goes by, and you put your time in at 7 a.m. in the mornings, and no one, for whatever reason, is doing that handoff. Maybe you transition somewhere else. Okay, because sometimes all streams won't work. But if I'm getting one from my sphere and 1 or 2 from BNI, now I'm filling the gaps. I want more. So how do I find more? So for me, I started looking. Well, depends on your phase of life, but I'm going to take out excuses here too. So I have, for the record, if you haven't seen me on social, I have 6 children. Not that it's something like magical in today's world, but it's kind of a handful, right? Having 6 kids. So we had a lot of school system stuff going on. Now, while people go, oh yeah, I'm connected with school, I volunteer. No, I'm talking like get deeper. So I said, okay, what's the school doing besides a PTA or whatever it is? What's different than my BNI group that's different than my sphere? For me, we had this group called HTEF. It was the Hampton Township Education Foundation. Didn't know anything about it, right? So what do? It's a group of parents and teachers that get together once or twice a month. They have a meeting, and we raise money for the school of things they cannot afford in its school budget for the kids. So if we raise, I don't know, 20 grand, and the school needs something for their science department, and it's not in their budget, they can come and do a pitch to us, and if we like it and feel it's valuable, we'll write them a check. That's a good thing to do, isn't it? Right? But guess what? Was that a good stream of people for me? When else would I get parents and teachers together in one room that we can just, not there for leads, I'm there to build rapport and community, which is what I'm selling, is a community. But I got to know a lot of people in that school system and it involved me deeply to where like and trust was there. It built up. Once like and trust is there, the business will follow, right? Because no matter what it is, I run into a guy I like, I think he's awesome, and he tells me he's a financial advisor. Maybe I'll ask him for advice on where to invest the money. Or I run into someone who does, I don't care, makeup or hair care, and I trust them. Hey, what would you do with this? Like you start asking questions to those you like and trust. So that's where I would take that. That became a third stream for me because I dove into that. And it was different than BNI, different than my sphere. 4 was a hobby. I live up in Sussex County, up in the mountains of New Jersey, which people don't realize there's a lot of woods and mountains in New Jersey, but there are. And I did a lot more when I was younger, but 3D archery. I used to shoot a lot of targets. My kids, a lot involved. I had no idea that in the county I live in was a group, all ages, male, female, kids, grandparents, of archers called the Appalachian Bowmen. Well, bowmen and bowwomen. It's probably almost a 100-year organization. In the middle of the woods, there was a barn, but I'm talking all the people that lived in those areas of about 20 miles, 30 miles, happens to be where I sell real estate. All those farms, whatever I was selling, showed up. And they showed up with passion. It was just like going to a bowling league or just like going to a card game, except there was about 60 of them. I joined this group with my kids and for the first 2 months, they didn't know I was in real estate. I wasn't there for that. I was there in jeans and sneakers and a ball cap, and we just shot together. Now, that was good for me, that was good for stress, that was good for a night out, that was good for my kids, but it didn't take long till one day I was running late, and I showed up with one of my branded shirts on, and whatever real estate company I was at that time, and they were like, you sell real estate? I'm like, oh yeah. And I did kind of like the takeaway, like, oh yeah, I've sold real estate a long time. Like, let's just get shooting. Man, I could see the light bulbs going off, because there wasn't a week after that. Like after 8 o'clock we're done, and then it's like everyone's leaving, they're like, hey Jeff, you got a second? I want to grab a cup of coffee, I got a question for you. My mom's got a house, and I'm not sure what to do with it, and she's gonna, maybe I have to sell it. Now all of the trust came into play. It took me a couple months, and I'm telling you, that paid its dividends so many years, because it wasn't just those 60 people. Then we sponsored events, and when we sponsored events, guess who was one of the sponsors? My real estate company. And I got all these people running around shooting archery with my name's on their back, right? So it became a thing where I started giving into donate towards it. It became a sphere. These are people I never would have met, never would have had time to connect with, and they were different than BNI, HDEF, and my sphere. Following? See how these streams are flowing? All different. Start writing yours down and whether they're strong or not. Because you're going to have some that are not, and we're going to stick to them or dive deeper. 5 for me was a sporting group. Since I had kids, sports was a thing. Okay, I still coach kids. Coaching's kind of been my thing. Besides coaching people, I coach kids. One of the best things I have now, since I have kids that are playing ball in college, is I've coached a lot of them since here. Some of you know you've had real estate agents that just started, and you've seen them 5 or 10 years later, and they'll come back to you and remember you, right? Now I got these kids graduating high school coming up to me at 300 pounds size-wise when they were this big, hugging me, still calling me coach. Best feeling in the world, right? That's why we do it. Now, you might say, well, Jeff, I don't have kids. But let me tell you this. I came back down the ladder. It's very warm here, isn't it? Yeah, we're working on the warm. Lisa, Lisa in the back. Did they ever say they were coming to change the temperature? At a lot of hot. They're sweating in here. So did they ever ask? I'm sorry. She tried to get them. They have to do. It's not Lisa though. The company's done. Are you cool over here?
We're cool over here. This section is cool.
Yeah, over here.
We're in a room.
We're
nice and cool.
I'm hot too. No. What's that? Is it just me? You're over here all fanning.
No, it's not you.
See?
It's not you.
I like it. It's a comfort thing. Y'all, you don't mind to strip down. I don't have the. It's less security. I got my wife. Yeah, I'll save that shirt. All right, so here's the thing. So I coached kids since they were small, and I brought them up through high school. You know what? I came back down to 3rd and 4th grade level. You know what kind of patience that takes, first of all. But secondly, here's this. How many of you right now no longer have children or grandchildren, or maybe never had in your life? Right now. They're just not there, never had them, or don't have any more. They're off and on. Okay. So for those, just take the excuse out. If you came to me as just, you're looking to get involved, you're in real estate, you know I coach lacrosse. Hey, do you need an assistant coach, Jeff, or a team mom, or a team something, a team assistant? Well, you're welcome. I don't care if you know the sport or not. I coach volunteer. You know how many volunteer coaches are out there right now? You want to come help me be team mom or dad, assistant coach, helper, learn the game? Let's go. So guess what? You now get connected to my entire team, family, network, and all of the people that are on the board and the coaches. There's a way to get involved even if you have the excuse of not getting involved. I'm telling you, when my kids finally get out of 3rd and 4th grade and they go up to high school and those kids are gone and out, I'll probably come back down and coach kids that aren't mine. That's okay. It's because it keeps me connected to that. If I'm in real estate, it's a huge stream of people. So just because you don't have a connection to it or have something to tie to it, doesn't mean you can't participate in it. That's a huge group of people. Do you know sporting parents, they are aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they don't like to lose. They are like win. So it's a group of people that I would normally never have a chance to connect with. So I only try and take some of the excuse out because I know right now I'm open to help anybody helping volunteer their time, but it puts you in a network that you never would have had. Right? Think about your own world. What else you could be in someone else's world. 6, I had to find a strategy. It was, we sat down and said, where do I not have a group of people that I know? Like, who do I not know that's a group? And I am not a big political person. I don't run for stuff. I stay out of politics. But for me, my town, community hall, city hall, like other than knowing the fire cert person and the town manager, I knew nothing else there. But that's a group I needed to know. So I remember clearly, at the time I owned a brokerage, I walked down to town hall, and I said to the town manager, hey, she's like, oh, hey, what's going on, Jeff? Because I knew her. I said, what do you guys do on a bigger scale, like town-wide, citywide, that maybe I can get involved with, that I can network with or participate in or volunteer? And she just like looked at me and started laughing. She's like, you really want to volunteer? Like, who wants to volunteer? Who shows up and says, I want to go do some work? So I'm like, I really have no idea what you guys are doing. I really, I own the brokerage, I want to do something. So she's like, well, here's a couple choices. We do this, this. And she said to me, she goes, you can do the food drive stuff. We need people to run food drive. I go, well, what's that? She goes, we have a huge food bank. I go, where? She goes, right here on site. She goes, you never saw it? I said, no. She shows me this like big garage warehouse that looked like a ShopRite. It looked like a food store, pantry, like amazingly clean. So I go, what are we going to do? She goes, well, we need someone in your area to be the conduit to like where customers or homeowners can bring food. They drop it off, you package it all up, put it in boxes, and you bring it to us. You be like the person in charge, the coordinator. Now you have no idea what she just said. I can ask the public to come to my office and bring stuff. You know how many people are walking through my office doors on any given day normally now? Not normally, anytime. How many people are walking in your office doors? Like, hey. So guess what? I can now be the office everyone comes to. I get to invite the public. Hey, come to my brokerage, and we're going to take all your food or toys, or we do toy drives or whatever. And now I had people and families walking in, oh my God, how long have you been here? I never saw this office before. Like, yeah, isn't that a good thing, right? Like, come on in, have coffee, feed them some donuts. Like, I made it a thing. You know what? That was awesome. Secondly, I got to then go down and help people that really needed some food and help, and like, that became a good thing. And then guess who got to know me too? Besides the public, all the town people, because I'd see them like twice a month, as we went down in jeans and sneakers and loaded food shelves. See, it's not just there for work. It's part of the community. They all started to connect. And I'll tell you, the public thing was magical. So now, I used to do toy drives, bring all your toys to my office. We would be the office thing, we had a whole corner, people come in, and we made it part of the party, right? That's good for real estate. That was a good stream for me, right? Get some ideas? 7 for me, then this was born, social media. Right? And then it became a whole different animal. Now, for some, social media isn't necessarily a stream. It's there, but you're not necessarily getting steady referral base from it, so it's got to work. In my case, it did. I had a lot of others that could have been included here. Like I said, I don't frown upon if Zillow produces revenue for me and I can generate the $5 or $10 on a 5, I will do that with anybody. I don't care what name it is, as long as it's a legitimate company. So for you, it might be Realtor.com. For you, it might be my lead gen site. But is it giving you a steady group of referrals? So those were my 7. Let's talk about some of yours. Let's talk about the ones that might be a good one or one that you just realized right now they're there, but they're not producing anything for you. Who wants to start? Small group today. Yes, go for it.
I had taken a class like this similar, and they were suggesting that you try to buy a social media group, and I did. I became the administrator of a meetup group in DC, Maryland.
Okay.
And there's 150 members, and what they do is they just meet for champagne and cocktails, my favorite, and we meet in DC.
That's right. So it's a meetup group you started online, right? Great idea. That you actually executed, because half the time you get the idea and you don't execute. So that's a big hop on. So you did, and now you meet up for wine and champagne, and just, so how often? Once a month, or?
As often as I can try to schedule a meeting. They like to meet weekly. That's not possible for me, so I try to do it maybe twice a month. But there's like 150 members.
And what kind of people? Are they business people, homeowners? Is it just random?
They're just an assortment of professionals in the city.
Just want, it's a chance to get out, get together. It's a reason, right?
Exactly.
It's awesome. That's a good group of membership. To tie into that, one of our clients, one of our clients started a similar to that. While you're tied into it, started a beer garden club. Where like he just likes beer, and he figured, hey, you know what? He went to the bars and said, can we host a beer thing like once a month? It's here, once a month. It's a different place each month. They pick 12, and they have a meet up there. They kind of created that whole theme. So it's a great theme. I love that idea. In the corner, yeah.
Business to business groups or joining a condo or HOA.
Like an HOA. Okay, so getting involved deeper into that, like call it your farm area, but. Is it something you belong to now, or something you're thinking of going there?
No, that's something I was asked based on a listing that I have in DC.
Mm-hmm.
That particular village has 9 villages.
Oh.
Okay, so the particular one that I listed is in phase 2,
Yep.
which have 71 units. So I was asked to be an honorary type member for their association.
Have you done it?
Of course.
Absolutely. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
I would go deeper into that group because remember I said leverage and momentum. You got a listing in there, and you get a sale in there, and then you can have some validation. But now you can start learning what the challenges are in that community. How can you help that community? Yeah, get deeper. Who? Yes.
This isn't a group, but I actually have a relationship with an elder care lawyer, and she's given me multiple streams of business.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, because that's a big niche. And this afternoon, we're going to talk about a lot of different lead source niches, but that's a great one. I mean, it's a huge need too, right? Someone's going to help them through that process. Who has a stream? Okay, this here.
Well, one that I really want, I know someone who does it and is very successful, is with working with divorce attorneys.
Divorce, oh yeah.
And so, yeah, I know it's sad, but it's a good stream.
No, it's unfortunately, yeah, I mean, it's a huge need. I'll tell you what.
It's one listing and 2 sales.
It's a 3-fer, yeah. That's what's it's a 3-fer, it is. It's one listing, 2 sales, or one listing, a sale, and a rental. There's a combination in there. But let's face it, if any of you have been through a divorce, I've been through one, unfortunately, the universe somehow starts to deliver divorce clients. There was a time in my career, I won't forget, literally, and you could believe in the universe delivering whatever you put out there. However, every listing appointment I went on was a divorce situation. Even the ones I thought were not a divorce situation, I show up and look like a normal thing, and then we get through this whole CMA, and we're done, and like, oh, by the way, we need to tell you. I'm like, what? We're really divorcing ourselves. I'm like, what? Another one? Like, it was boom, boom, boom. So I almost, to a point, wanted to become a divorce specialist, because there's a lot of movement that has to happen. You have to have a lot of sensitivity to the children and where things are going and how legally it goes. Like there's a whole nuance to that, and not that it is a kind of a sad challenge, but it's a huge need for real estate. So the only thing the reason I didn't specialize in that, because I didn't want to box myself into people thinking that's all I did. But it seemed like I was doing a lot of it, so it's a great niche. Yes.
Probate, and I work with probate attorneys as well as probate and estate.
Estate.
Yeah, estate.
That's a great one. That's a hard process.
And bankruptcy.
Okay. Yeah, bankruptcy attorneys.
Mhm.
Who has a stream that is not producing, that you're realizing it now? Like, I got it, it's here, but I'm not really getting steady referral sources out of it. Yeah, which is it? Rotary, okay. So it's a great group to be part of. And now, so here's the decision. Not saying you have to give up on it, because it's a great thing to do and support. It's a challenge. But now the question is either you try and figure out how to make it work, or you're spending your time there with just the understanding of that's just like the Rotary, you're not there just for business. It could be, but it gets frustrating sometimes because you're committing time and building relationships. Maybe, the only thing I could say maybe is to try and take something a step further. The only thing I found, like with Rotary, same with my BNI, was I didn't get as many referrals until I started getting closer one-on-one with people. Like I had to start going to lunch with them. I had to start knowing more about their family and friends and colleagues. And so when I go to lunch, we talk about kids and talk about stuff. And then it was that point I made that initial work. So maybe Rotary is finding those core people you really think you want to connect to and start doing more one-on-one and see if that starts just, relationships. That's what it is. That's how people feel. They give you the business based on how you make them feel, right? So that might be a challenge. Yes?
I want to ask you a question. You had mentioned BNI.
Yeah.
And I went to a BNI session one day. I was invited to come.
Yeah.
And everybody in the group, there's only one person per.
Right.
Correct. Yep.
So that means that if I wanted to be the realtor, I'd have to start my own BNI and be the realtor, or get it with a group that's just getting started, or what?
Okay, so was there already a real estate agent there that had the space? Yeah, which at this time, that's been around a long time, that BNI group. But, so the answer would be, yeah, you would have to either wait for them to leave, which maybe not, right? Or then find a way to start your own chapter, which is kind of what we ended up having to do. And I don't know the rules to most currently how they do that today, but I know we had to do that in ours. There was one in, let's say, the town of Sparta, which was a really kind of nicer area. But in my market, there was nothing. So I realized that's never going to open up. So we started our own. I got together with 3 or 4, like an attorney. Like there's other ones that really want to be in there too. Find your attorney, find your lender, like they want to be in it, but they can't be in that one either. And start your own chapter.
And then you just pass the leads back and forth between each other.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is, and the intent is, like, with the right intent is, and it's so funny you stand up like, hi, my name's Jeff. A good way to help you with a referral today would be looking for someone that's going through a divorce or whatever it is. So you kind of give them the ideas of what would be a good referral for you. And the goal is to try and get referrals. But remember, just because you're in my BNI group doesn't mean I'm going to give you a referral.
Right.
Like, let's not make that assumption.
Right.
I don't necessarily like and trust you yet. That's why I really think, though, but it gives me the opportunity to be with 20 or 30 people that normally I would never be in front of. So it's the opportunity. I still have to work the relationship part. It's not a gimme. It's not a given. And I don't like people to assume that, because I wouldn't give my business to you unless I really knew you. So BNI or not, right? There's trust. But it's an opportunity to be in front of that group that you never were before. So it is work, right? Yes. Go for it.
Before I moved to this county,
Yeah.
I was extremely involved in my church.
Yes.
And that was just, I didn't even realize how much of my business came until my office manager did the yearly get together, and she had put all my listings and sales up and made me go through and say where I got them. And she said, well, it looks to me like you need to keep going to church.
Isn't that amazing? Sometimes we don't realize where we get our stuff from. That's a lot of times when we deal with lead generation systems, it's like hard to measure that ROI. What's the ROI? Like if I said, what's the ROI of social media? Yes.
Next door.
Next door. Okay, yeah, that's the company program where you build that community platform. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I ask you, what's the ROI of social media? How do you prove that ROI? What's my return on social media? Is there really a way to prove it, honestly?
It would have to be sales.
It would have to be sales, and secondly, you don't even know if they're happening now. Like you could be working and building relationships with someone online and social for the last 3 years and maybe the next upcoming 2, but they haven't bought anything yet. Now they do. So you can't even measure it most of the time. Yes.
So with like Facebook and their ridiculous algorithm,
Yeah.
unless you're really paying for ads,
Mm-hmm.
they're not really putting your content in front of people. So it's really hard because they keep changing. And even if you do do the ads and you do them correctly and you have your audience targeted,
Yes.
it's still really challenging. And like, I'm not gonna spend $50 a week on Facebook ads just to maybe I'll get someone
So
to see it.
that's a great dilemma. So we're going to cover a few of those today. But like you said, it's kind of teeing it up. And while there is no perfect world, and none of these solutions, let's face it, anything can change today or tomorrow, we're going to address 2 or 3 of those ideas. So yes.
You were talking about things that don't work. One of the things that does work really well.
Yes. Yes.
Are realtor referrals.
Realtor referral. So how do you get them? How do you get them to give you the referral? She's like, oh, here comes the magic, right? No, like, there's got to be a method.
Relationships. I
Yeah.
get to know them. When I was in real estate school,
Yeah.
the teacher said, look to your right, look to your left.
There you go.
Those people aren't going to be in business in 5 years. I made sure I got to know those folks. So
Yeah.
that when they were no longer in business, they give me referral. I even had people in my office who don't want to do the work.
Yeah.
That will give me, I will give them a referral fee. They have their licenses, they just don't want to do it.
So here's the other thing. So if you have an office where people are in referral status, you haven't spoken to them about how you can work with them together and help them. I know some offices that have 70, 80 people in referral status that don't have to show up anywhere. There's your referral, keep your license. Look, my license right now is in referral because I can't have it in an active brokerage. I work for all brokerages in the branch right now. So that being said, that's a great idea. Coming out of that idea is find out how many people are in your referral programs in your area, in your brokerage, and pick up the phone and say, listen, I want to maybe it's, hey, you normally get a 25% referral, maybe I'll work with you and give you 30%. Whatever it is to get their incentive as they're getting referrals to family and friends, you become that person. Yes.
To piggyback off of that, she can get the information from our licensing website, DOLR.
There you go, from the licensing website.
And
Watch
all they
it
have
before
to
logging
do
as
is
that
put
baby.
the
Wow.
brokerage.
That's the baby council. Yeah, you guys.
The national
I'm just saying.
conference, you're making connections from,
That's right.
I'm a stalker.
postal business out of it.
100%. It's the work part. That's ready. Last one, and we'll move on. Yes.
As a broker, one thing I noticed is agents think that they don't need to be in the office anymore these days.
Yeah.
And
Assessment.
those agents, those new agents or growing agents that are in the business, the ones that are in the office every single day are
Yeah.
the top producers. The team leaders, the ones that have all the business flowing to them, and they have too much business to handle themselves. So what happens is they walk through the office and business falls off of them. Leads fall off of them, sign calls fall off of them, open houses. So those newer hungry agents or growing agents, just being in the office on a daily basis in your place of business, you will get leads dropped to you from those top producing agents.
Yeah. And you just have to be around. Just be surrounded by the producers. You're right. So many top producers, and some of you were in the room, and I lived that world for a while. That you can't handle it. It's just sometimes your team isn't big enough. You don't have a team, and you're right. Stuff falls through the cracks. I used to lose leads between the car seat and the center thing on Post-it notes. Like, there's stuff I could have given anybody, which is why I ended up building a team, ultimately. Before teams were even, like, mathematically teams in today's world, I just know I needed help. I had to learn to focus on, so let me go off script a little bit for a second. The other thing you have to think about is, when it comes to these shoots, you have to realize what you're really good at and what you're not, right? The hardest thing for me to do was to give up control of what I was not, right? I had to think, and I thought, I'm going to do everything. I don't want to give up a dime. I don't want to pay anybody. I got all this, other than like needing an assistant. But I was so wrong because quality of life, letting leads burn, not taking care of the customers. There was so much business that I had to actually have what at the time called buyers agents. Or everyone, like I couldn't possibly even answer all the phone calls. You know, market conditions different. You know, I had 30, 40 listings, but I realized I was good at listings. I can win listings. That's what I was good at. Ask me to fill out paperwork properly? No. Ask me to be detail-oriented and design some marketing? No. No, not at all. Matter of fact, I shouldn't have even touched any of that. However, I did, and it wasn't good. Guess what? The second I found people who were really good at that and freed up my time to go do more of what I did really well, it was magical.
Yes.
It was magical. It changed my business. And yes, I gave up some money. Yes, I took some risks. Yes, I had to hire people and put them on salaries and bonuses. But at that point, I was freed up to do what I did well. Today, I do what I do really well. I stay out of those lanes that I'm not. There's a lot of other people I can refer you to that what I don't do well. What I know how to do is this business, and the listing side, and the system side, and how to make money. I stay out of teaching people how to be a good assistant, like how to do that kind of stuff, back office stuff. That's not me. Those have said it best earlier. She's a back office person. Don't ask me to go sell anything. right? So stay in our lanes and focus on what we do well. So let me talk about a couple ideas to break down some how-to stuff, some ideas and strategies. Some of these are going to be for you, some of them are not going to be. Some of them you're going to go, holy cow, I would never do that in my life. Okay. However, some of these you absolutely can do, I know that, I won't talk about it. But I want you to also understand that whether we like it or not, change is happening. And whether we're going to do something or not, I'm going to share with you things that others are doing, and they're doing around us. So we have to always know. One of my biggest things was, people say, well, don't worry about your competition, just focus on you. But I was a numbers guy. I wanted to know my competition only because I wanted to know how to compete with them. Right? I knew my farm areas. I knew what kind of marketing they did because I had to know what marketing I'm going to do better, how I position myself with the consumer, and I had to understand them from a mechanical standpoint and understanding that way, not just because they were in my distraction phase. I wanted to know what they did and how they did so I could do better, right? So when we talk about this stuff, understand it may not be for you, but there are people doing it. And it reminds me of the story that I have to plant with you in the back of your subconscious about BlackBerry. How many of you had a BlackBerry? Right? Was it not the best darn device ever? You cried, right? It was like the most craziest, and we loved it. Oh, the Nextel, remember? Oh, we were Nextel up, two-way communication between me and my sister. Like I think we needed therapy after that because it was like, all right, beep beep. It was like walkie-talkies.
They were awesome. I love that.
Okay, so we all understand how much we love them. Let's learn the lesson from what happened and what didn't happen. They thought their way was the only way. What changed was not just technology, not just because better tech was born, is because the consumer wanted something different. They wanted something more visual. They wanted something they can see better and take video. Did you ever try and zoom in on a photo on a BlackBerry with that plus sign and you're trying to like zoom in and it looks like you're trying to zoom in from a satellite up in outer space? It's pixelating and you can't see it. It was terrible. Other than having that keyboard, they didn't change. And whether they liked it or not, or had the best product or not, they lost because the consumer changed around them. The consumer wanted it, someone built it, and guess who went with it? The other thing that people wanted in this universe was they wanted an ecosystem. They wanted a place to go get other stuff. What is the business Apple is really in? Apple the product. You may have an iPhone. I don't care if it's Android 2, Android 2. What business are they in?
Data communication.
Upgrading and making me buy it.
Me spending money.
Yeah.
People think they're hardware. People think they're software. People think, oh, it's about the experience. All that, yes. They're an ecosystem. They allow you access to many things that you want. They allow you access to an app store with 130 million apps. They allow you access to a music store with 43 million songs. They allow you access to shoot video and take photos.
Email.
They allow you access to email, to take photos, to take videos. They are an ecosystem. Did BlackBerry create their own? Did they really get ahead of it creating an app store for BlackBerry?
No.
Did they want to create access to that stuff? No, they wanted to stay very secure. I want to stay secure.
Right.
Great, how'd that work? Right? They didn't allow the consumer what they wanted. So as we talk about this, real estate agents are going to change around you. You compete every day. Like it or not, someone else out there trying to win a listing. Right? We all love each other in the room. At the end of the day, you go out there though, someone's trying to get that listing on a listing appointment other than you. Right? We compete. We do it nicely though. So let's learn that some people are doing things that are going to be different. So let's talk about social prospecting for a second. We're going to cover here a couple ideas this afternoon. But we first have to understand why. So if I ask you, how many of you are fairly active on social media? Let's get the record straight. Fairly active, right? So why do you think, and for those who are not, it's okay. No one said you had to be. But understand, if someone else is engaging with your customer or your friends and family and you're not, understand that that might be a loss. Why is it so successful? Not only successful, why is it such an addiction in this world? What made it so successful? That's right. We are nosy people. Yes, we are. Human nature. It's in human nature. We are nosy people. Why else?
I guess people need to be connected.
It's changed how we connect with people.
Yeah.
It's changed how we feel about that. Yeah.
To be relevant.
Relevant. Yeah. We see everything that's happening there, not there. Why?
FOMO, fear of missing out.
Absolutely. Fear of missing out all day.
You know, you see everybody's life and everybody
with, everybody's always happy.
Yes, there is no sadness, or sometimes there are. You get the people that just need I need the pat on the back.
But even when you get that, everybody's crowding around them and giving them hugs, and then they feel better.
Right.
Everybody's happy on Facebook, on Instagram.
And I'm going to add to that 1 second after I hear this one. Yes.
It's addictive.
It is addictive.
It is.
So it ties together. You know why it's addictive? And this is why we're having a problem with our younger generation, is it creates depression based on everyone else is having a magical life except me. My life is not, and it's really not that way. However, yes.
And it's a way for me to stay current because when something is happening, then there's an immediate reaction on Facebook that I can see and then say, okay, what's just happened in the world?
That's right. We find out about the news or things that are happening before the news,
yes,
right?
yes.
I'll tell you a quick story, and then I'll tie into my line here that's going to tie it all together. And it turned out to be okay, so when I say it, don't get all freaked out. So maybe it was about it was probably almost 8 months ago now. 8 months ago, my wife we have since we have the kids, she had drives a minivan, Toyota Sienna. And we call it the sexy minivan, because at that age, she's like, I can't believe we're driving a minivan at this age, right? So, unfortunately, she's headed to school, gets into a car accident. She was okay. Guy hit her in the rear, she spun out, ended up hitting the telephone pole, thank God, all okay, both sides. But I got that phone call at 3 o'clock, because like, school time, like, hey, just an accident, get down here. So I go flying down there. So after now we're in a small, like, rural town, right? So everyone's pulled around. So about an hour later, after everything's settled, the cops are there, I'm standing next to the head of the EMS. She's a woman that I've known for a while because my older son goes to school with her older daughter. And they're playing lacrosse. So we're talking about the kids and lacrosse, and we're chit-chatting, and she goes, you know what's crazy? She goes, I'm sitting in my office, and I'm on Facebook in this group called Inside Frieden. Frieden's the town I live in. She's in a group. And she goes, I hear about this accident on Route 94, and then someone commented on the accident saying, hey, accident on 94, watch for traffic. And then someone said, is it bad? No, it's just a fender bender. And then someone's like, no, it's not, hit the telephone pole. She goes, and here I am going, wait a minute, I'm in charge of the head of EMS. Why have I not gotten a call? 911 or whoever never got to her yet. And so she called her captain and said, did we get a call for the accident on Route 94? And literally, as she was saying that, the call came in. She goes, I found out about the accident on Facebook before the 911 call came in. Like, and people were posting pictures, driving by, like, oh my God, and then some people, like one of the teachers recognized my wife. Like, it became this all in a group. And as we're talking about this, like we're just having fun talking, like it's registering with me, like that is crazy. Like that's a story we have to understand. It is more powerful than we know, but all of the answers you have given me are absolutely right. And here's what it really ties to. Here's the why. It's a play and it wins because it's an emotional product. It's all tied to your emotions. And when it can tie, fear of missing out, life is always great, I don't want to miss something, I'm nosy, I want to see what my friends and family are up to. All of that's an emotional response. And I'm going to prove it to you. After you guys have made a post, you guys maybe made a post this morning, right? Or sometime last night. 5 to 7 minutes later, or even sooner, what are you all doing after you make that post?
Checking in.
I've asked 99,000 people in audiences this past year that same question. Same answer. We're checking to see if someone liked or commented on it. Why would you be doing that? Is that an emotional response?
Yeah.
You are looking for acceptance, you're looking for buy-in, you're looking for somebody to pay attention, you're looking for something. Right? So it's an emotional win. And guess what? If 5 to 7 minutes you went by, maybe 10, 20 minutes went by, there's not a like or a comment. Not one.
I reposted.
Like, is Facebook down? Is it broke? What's wrong with Facebook today? Should I delete this thing and start over? Maybe I didn't post and send.
No,
Did I hit send?
I just reposted.
Just repost it. Delete it, repost it. Try it again.
They weren't paying attention.
It's too early.
Like, people will post the stupidest things, and people will go like, oh my God, that's fabulous.
Yes. There's a lot of, there's people that will post crazy things. And that proves to you this. There's a lot of different.
I do it. I posted, I got my hair cut. A bazillion people. I'm like, are you serious?
Yes.
This is that interesting?
Welcome to the new world.
I'm like, this is ridiculous. I post relevant content.
No, because relevant content, so here's the thing. If you put a post about like some cool thing about changes in real estate or the market or some law that changed, who cares?
30 likes.
I could take a picture of me and my little doggy and get more people to love, I mean, not even about me, it's like, that dog's amazing, oh my God. Because that's how people are. So guess
Yeah.
what? That's all because of
Yeah.
emotion. So if we learn today, understand that what you post needs to connect with people emotionally. It can still be about real estate, but don't just show me the house. That's not emotion. Like, it's nice. I just listed it, cool. No one cares. Something about that house, something about the people that live there, something about the story of the people that bought it, something about something to give me the excitement of engaging with that. And think about it, if I'm gonna get more posts about my dog versus that, what can I do to make that engaging, right? The haircut, what can I do? Because that's the only reason we're there is to get people to engage. If we just posted, you're gonna hear me go on a rant about the business page, we're gonna go down that path about the algorithm and all that stuff. I'm gonna hold that thought because I'm gonna go too fast. Let's just go back here a second. What happens when you get emotion? What happens? You feel different? When you get engagement, you feel different. You feel happy, or at least you feel satisfied, right? Then there's the extreme. You know that look. Sometimes it's like around 11:30 at night.
Really?
And you're like, come on. When do you stop? Like, really? You're gonna stop? Can you put the thing down? When's the device? Like, I'm guilty. Guilty. The dinner table, my darn phone, it's gotta go away, right? Tommy and I were talking about this earlier, right? We have to learn, pay attention to our friends, family, children. Right? We have the same problem. It's an addiction. If I said to you, and I used to do this years ago when mobile devices were turning smartphones, back when I really started speaking and stuff. I used to do these broker training sessions for brokers that were just newly franchised. And we were, smartphones were a big thing. So I used to do this thing about psychology of where we are in the world. And I go, how many of you have a smartphone, one of those new ones, like smartphone? Like, time it was fun. So they all raise it up. Hey, I got the BlackBerry. And so I'm like, awesome, bring them all up, bring them up here. Get them all up, 20, 38 brokers. Put them up here. They're like, what? No, put them up here. We're going to put them all up here. I make them walk them up. And they're like, what do you want us to do? I'm like, no, leave them here and go back to your seats. Leave them. And they're like, right? And they're like, what? I'm like, no, just leave them here, go back. We're just gonna, and I watch them like the way they place it. They're like, I'm gonna put my face down. And then, so I don't want them to touch anybody else's phone. Then they go back and sit down. I made them go sit. And for the next 10 minutes, I watched the distraction of things vibrating over there, and they couldn't pay attention to a word I said. And it was just such an alarming, like for 15 minutes, they could not leave their phone there. And that was then. How about now? Yeah. Right? So we have to understand, it's all tied to this emotion. So could it be a time suck?
Yes.
It's the same time suck that when I ran a brokerage, and back when like long distance used to be 10 or 20 cents a minute back then, I'd go downstairs to the sales group and on a $5,000 computer, and I thought the guy was working prospecting and he's playing solitaire. And calling his aunt on my long distance dime in Florida, right? So same time suck, except now we just have a lot easier to swipe through things and kill time. There's a lot smarter ways to use this stuff now. So let's go down this path and let's get smarter about it. And if few of you said some of these ideas, we're going to go deeper. What if there was a better way to listen to people? See, all the social media in the world is that we do a lot of talking, a lot of posting. They're talking about a lot of good stuff. If we could learn to listen better, because that's really a good salesperson's role, is listen. We can extract things that are changing. Remember, what do people talk about in real estate, on social media? They talk about their lives, things changing. They talk about what's going on in their day-to-day. When does real estate transactions happen? When life events happen, right? Life events trigger everything. This afternoon, you're going to learn how much of that. Life events, 95% of life events trigger real estate transactions. I'll be married, I'll be divorced, I'll have more kids. Like right now, everyone goes through that phase. Right now, my phase of life, most of my friends in that age group that I spend time with, all their kids are going up to college, right? Some of the kids are going out of college. Guess what we have? A 4 or 5 bedroom house with 3.5 baths and no children. Ding! Like, imagine if you just had a list of all the people that no longer have kids in the house. Would that be a good prospecting list? Right? Now, while they don't have that, don't people on social media talk about that? It's graduation day. There's like next week, watch me. Watch Friday my post. Guess where I'm going to be Friday? Saturday. Packing my daughter up to go to Ohio. Here we go. The whole gang. You're going to see a whole truckload of... So those are signs that we should be talking to those people. Now, we might know those people, but making sure we're staying connected to them. Congratulate. Oh my God, I can't believe your daughter's that big and she's already at school. What are you guys going to do? You stay in, like, just have those conversations. So we have to listen better. How do we do it? Some of them talk about groups. There's some different ideas on groups. We all belong to 1,000 groups, but we don't listen to them sometimes. There's some very specialty groups besides the ones you create, like the meetup group, which by all means you can all do. Here's a couple things that opened my eyes. In my small town, and I say small, I only say it because I want to be more extreme about it. My town is probably 20 miles wide. There's not, like, it's farmland and like cows and stuff, so there's not like easy to door knock, other than some townhome developments I can. But think about it, it's far spread. Let's call it a couple thousand people. When else would I have a chance to know that many people? Like, you almost never, unless you see them in town, or sometimes you don't even know who your neighbors are sometimes. You're driving in and out all the time. In my town, I found about a year and a half ago, a group called, and I went and searched, by the way, you go search by town, search by city, search by geography. Up on the right-hand side, this one's called Inside Freedom. The name of the group. Like, what are they talking about? Everything that's going on in Freedom, from literally, like, hey, somebody's dog is loose. Did you see the horse running on the road today? It was crazy. Or, hey, what's going on with school? Is school starting early this year? Or who's going to the Board of Education meetings tonight? Hey, anybody have a spare generator? I lost power. Right? All this. Anybody have a recommendation? I need a plumber. People want recommendations from local people in their neighborhood because it's obviously a local business. So it's everything. Now, you might go, some of it's so silly. It's like the haircut, right? Like, who cares about my haircut? Who cares about the poor little doggy that's loose? Everybody. Everybody. And they know it by name. People are out looking for it. We had, and this sounds bizarre, one of my neighbors made a post in that group, he's a mile down the road, about he lost his 2 dogs. They broke out and they're somewhere. And within probably 30 minutes from that group, it's the only way I knew about it, because he didn't call me, he didn't text me, he didn't ask me to help him. There were probably 15 cars driving around like lunatics with spotlights trying to find these 2 dogs. Like, we're crossing each other. Like, lights crossing, like, hey, you looking for the dogs? Hey, I know Keith. You looking for the dogs? Yeah, me too. All right, I'm going to go this way, you go that way. Now it's like a whole group. It started here. Are those good people to know? They live in the homes that I want to sell. They're the neighbors I want to meet. They're the people I want to connect with. And now, you can't go in there and start like giving your psycho real estate babble, but you can sprinkle it in, and you sprinkle it gently. So people go, Jeff, give me an example. Okay. So the guy that says, hey, Jeff, hey, you lost power on the street. Anybody have a spare generator? I have a spare generator. If I'm in real estate, what would I do? Hey, Tom, you know what? I have a spare generator. I have an open house from 1 to 4 today. If I swing by at 5, would that be cool? I'll drop it off. Just told you I'm in real estate, didn't I?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'm working with some buyers today. I'm showing a couple houses. As soon as I'm done, I'll run home and get it for you.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Yeah. Recommendation. Am I got a good plumber? They're like, oh yeah. You see it, like, of course, it's all the, oh yeah, my husband's a plumber. Or call this guy. He's the best. I just send hey, listen, we sell a lot of homes in the area. We work with a lot of great contractors. I'll send you the whole list for the whole group of our vetted plumbers. And stuff. I'll post it online. You guys can all have them. Right? So there's a way to sprinkle that and be part, because you're there to help. You give value first, right? And then sometimes you get off all the nonsense and just direct message the person and go, see, there's a lot of stuff on there, but you know what? I just used this guy last week. We closed on the house. He was fantastic. He price ready, showed up on time. If you want something, just personally sometimes side vent all the noise and go direct. Because Facebook Messenger allows you to do that, doesn't it?
Yes.
Like little tools like that cost us nothing. What's it cost to be in a group? Nothing. What's it cost to start a group? Nothing. Guess how many people are in that group? And I say, I'm in a small town. At this time, this is 570. There's over 800 right now.
Wow.
In that group. When else would I have a chance to even potentially have the conversation with up to 800 people in my town? Ever. No, never. Not a shot. So then I thought, okay, well, that's a small town. Like, there can't be anything else related to that. If you look at the other group I started digging up, there's one that's called Happenings in Newton, Stillwater, Freedom, and Hampton. Those are the 4 towns orally that go to the same high school. So we like to market them as part of the Kittatinny district. But guess what town is in there again? Freedom and Hampton, which I sold real estate in. Guess what they're talking about? All the same stuff. All different things. And then my favorite one I started digging up was I live in Sussex County, so it's Sussex County local businesses. Not the Chamber of Commerce. It's a bunch of local businesses that said, hey, we're going to get together in this group, small mom and pops, whatever they are, independent, looking to help each other. Ideas. People posting, hey, I need a good recommendation for a color printer. I'm tired of going to Staples. They're too expensive. Got a recommendation? I'm like, yeah, how about my real estate office? I'll come on by. I'll let you print my office. That'd be cool. You can swing by and use it as some workspace if you need it. You would? Sure. Anybody have any office space you'd use as a workspace? You'd let, if I was a loan officer on the road, or if I was a title person on the road, I needed to work for a little while in your office, would you let me? If I was a small business owner, would you let me? Sure. So these are people that are talking about, in this little group, there's only 30 in there. But you know what I'd be doing After every time I talk, like mention, I go have coffee with them and lunch with them. That's where I gotta go deeper. Hey, you know what? I'll swing by your store. I haven't seen the place. I have a real estate office up the street, or I do real estate in the area. I'll swing by. I'll drop you a cup of coffee. I'd love to see your store. Do you know how many people they know? Do you know how many people walk through some of your small business stores? We're going to talk about that as a strategy in a second. But that's where we're missing the opportunity. These are things that are being done productively, not as a time suck. And it costs us nothing. I don't have to spend any money. It's time, but to me, this is relationship and prospecting. And if you don't have a group, start one. Start one. Make it about, listen, it's not about you, it's not about your business, it's about them or the community. It's always about them or the community. And you know, if you don't like the groups that are happening, create one with your own theme to it that you think people are going to latch on to. There's a new one. Somebody, for some reason, didn't like what people were talking about inside Freedom. They started another one. I'm trying to think of the name. Something else to do with Freedom. United Freedom. I think it's called United Freedom now. And it's a lot of like the PTA moms and stuff that are, you know, trying to work on stuff behind the scenes for kids. So there's a lot of different ideas that are popping out of this because it's connecting people. Okay? So keep that idea in mind. Make it yours. Now we come to that algorithm, those pages, Facebook pages. They changed a lot. Now there's still benefits. Don't lose sight of the benefit. Having a Facebook business page, whether it produces people or not, because it doesn't allow organic people to get there. I get it. It's got this algorithm. It wants us to spend money. Is Facebook allowed to make money? Sure. Okay. So how do I benefit from this though? Now the Facebook business page is still a benefit because guess what? When people still search you on Google, it's still, that Facebook page is still going to be prominently public. So my suggestion to you is make sure it's got some good reviews on it too, because if you do a Google search for someone who has a good Facebook page with just reviews, it populates in that search, like literally right under like your main website and your name. And if it has good reviews, it looks good for your reputation. Understand? It's perception. Whether we like it or not, it will rank right there. So to me, it's got to still have that merit. Yes.
Is there a one company that you could send your clients to a review that will update all the medias? Because it's kind of tiresome to keep, you know, there's Zillow, there's Facebook, there's Google.
So yes and no. The answer is there are companies that will help you aggregate them, but there are some rules that like Zillow won't allow certain things. Like Zillow's not going to allow someone to auto post that review. If they make a post on my Google page, Zillow will not allow it because Zillow wants to vet it to make sure it's real. Right. And then Yelp won't allow it because they want to vet it to make sure it's real. So they have the gatekeeper up. However, there are services that if you post it on Zillow, it can pull it in and aggregate it to one page where you have one page with all of them. But it's not accomplishing what you want. If someone makes a Google review, it's not going to, the other companies won't allow it because it's not really vetted. It's got to go through their own platform. So I get it. So pick and choose your battles. My two battles would be Facebook and Google. Those two. And send both links. Have a love a review on this or both. Like you send them both. And if they got one out of the two, consider it a win. So we got this business page. And what happens are we make these posts. And to me, what we do most of the time is the definition of insanity. Is we keep posting stuff on the business page about business. And it's like this new house, and I got a new listing, and then I look at, or even worse, we pay companies to post stuff. I pay companies to do that for me, I'm too busy. I don't care if it's $50, $100 a month, and it posts like, what about this beautiful fireplace? And like one like or no likes. And then the next one, you just go down the page and you can tell who's paying for it. It's the same generic type post that every realtor gets. Oh, look at this beautiful outdoor waterfall pool. No one likes it. No one cares. So don't pay anybody to do it. Secondly, don't do it yourself, because it's the definition of insanity. You keep doing it, expecting something magical to happen, and you think that's what you're supposed to do. I say stop it. Just stop doing it. If you're going to use your business page, use it for highlighting your customers and clients and elevating somebody else. Use it to get good reviews. Use it to post stuff about your clients and stuff, but don't post generic real estate stuff. My strategy behind a business page would be a little bit more extreme. I would use a Facebook business page to prospect. Because isn't prospecting hard today? Mm-hmm. We love to prospect. Who loves to prospect? Be honest. Loves prospecting. I love calling people and getting rejected.
Call my kids for that.
But isn't that the number one thing we're supposed to be doing? Yeah. Imagine if we spent 60% of our time talking to new people every day. Part of my calls a lot of times with some of my clients are, listen, how many new people did you talk to today? It's not about just numbers. Like, just how did you talk to new people? Because if you don't, you're not building your business. So if you're going to use a business page, I'll share with you ideas on how I use it to go talk to people easier, to make it easier. So let's start here. You have to have some kind of a theme that's not about you. Because, I mean, you can have one about you for reputation, but if you want the page to really work, and I hate to say this, but no one really cares about you. No one's waking up going, I'm going to Jeff Lobb's Facebook business page today because he might post a new listing. Like, that's not how we do things. No one cares. But if I had a theme about what my customer or audience would want, and I posted things there, it might be more relevant for them. And I'm going to give you some basic ones. I'm going to give you some really good examples. I want you to think through your own world. So if I had a page, it wasn't named Jeff Lobb Realtor. It was named Tampa Real Estate Investments. Very obvious theme. It's about people investing in properties in the Tampa market and who's flipping properties, or I'm sure they're sharing the befores and after photos, and they had over 1,100 people, but it's engaged in the conversation about investments. Theme. Now that might not be for you because it's still real estate specific. Here comes another one that's titled 365 Cranford Westfield. What's happening in Cranford and Westfield 365 days a year? What's going on in that community? What is everything that's happening in that community? Do you think people want to know what's going on in their communities? Like, do they need a go-to source? This real estate agent became the go-to source. And it's not just about like sitting there posting generic stuff like, oh, the parade will be at 4 o'clock. No, she's at the parade. And posting from the parade, or getting ready for the parade, tomorrow's the parade. Like, she becomes that local connector to all things in those two towns. That's how she wanted to market herself. And guess what? Who's the local expert at that point? It's her. Right? So that's a theme. All Marblehead happenings. I never knew where Marblehead was. It's up in New England. Right? Anybody ever been to Marblehead?
Massachusetts.
Yeah, Massachusetts. Yeah,
Near
Massachusetts.
Gloucester.
It's near Gloucester, right? So you've been there?
I'm from there.
Neat. Oh, you're from there. Okay, so beautiful. So all Marblehead happenings, all things happening in Marblehead. This gentleman is a real estate agent, took it upon himself to be the ownership of all things happening there. He had 16,000 people like the page. He had 12,000 members on that page. Do you think they're paying attention? Is that more members than there on your page? So he took the time to do the work about everything, the culture, the history, what's happening this weekend to what happened last year this time. And he's dove deep into it. And guess what? Anything that goes on there, he is the person like, I see you everywhere kind of guy. Right? So that's a theme. Listen, the name of the page. Do you think that name of the page, if someone's searching for information in Marblehead in Google search, you think that might get found? Huh? Think so? You don't have to be an SEO expert, but guess what? Because of the name of that page, Marblehead itself, if I was searching for things in Marblehead, it might just get found too. So it's themed around what consumers want, not about what we want to push out. Let's go a step further. Have you seen this guy before?
Yes.
Okay. Now, some of you love him, some of you don't. Some of you not your cup of tea. Who loves him? Okay. Right? You gotta love. Look, it's either for you or not, right? I've seen Gary Vee when he first started, right? In his very beginnings, he was a New Jersey boy, not that early back, but his first talks. This was 2016 at Inman, San Francisco. I had the pleasure of speaking there as well. He was on the main stage, and actually by accident, his videographer, D-Rock, was sitting next to me just shooting video. And he was still up and coming. You know, a lot happens in a couple of years, right? It's 3 years ago. And he was talking about just, listen, video, content, and everyone's talking about video, but no one's really doing video. And he said, listen, if you want to own your marketplace, you want to be the local expert. Today's world, you got to be the digital man, right? You got to become that person. And that means the same thing that we did, or at least I did 20, 15 years ago, 10 years, like even when I started, is how did I market myself? I had branding on TV. I was on the local TV stations. I had some small billboard stuff. I had a wrapped car. Like I had all this branding, which has now simply moved to online, right? So where the consumers are. So he said you got to become the digital mayor. What does that mean? This is where I said you may not be into this stuff. However, people are doing it, right? So I'm going to share with you a couple of ways that people have become the digital mayor with the same theme about how do I help the community, and I'm going to teach you how to use it to prospect. So here's a company called Frez Yes. Frez Yes, Fresno Realty. This is a broker owner. I'm going to show you. He's not an HGTV person. He's not on television, well, he might be that maybe now, but he's a broker owner in Fresno. He said, how do I create a community-based show, if you will, a video, helping consumers understand where they should go in my community, what restaurants to go to, who should I be talking to. Now, before I show you this, let me give you the real scenario. What town do you market in? If you want, give me a town.
Annapolis.
Annapolis, right? So Annapolis. So as a real estate agent, I can have a Facebook page that's called, Jeff Lobbyists. Or I could have a page that I start tomorrow. Let's say I take my license from New Jersey, I move to Annapolis, I know nobody. And I start a page that's called the Best of Annapolis. Best of. Who gets to pick the best? Me. I don't know what the best of is yet, but let's say I've been in the town, whatever it is. Now you're a business owner. What I want to do is I found that if I knocked on doors for a living, which I didn't like to do back in the day, but I did, people will just talk to you. Eventually they'll talk to you. But who else besides one-on-one with the consumer, will know more people than me? Meaning, who's got a bigger network than a homeowner? And I always sit down with a business person in town. So if you're in that town that I want to sell in Annapolis, and you own the local pizzeria, not like the Pizza Hut or the big one, you're the local pizzeria. How many potentially my customers walk through your doors every day? And how many do you deliver to my potential farm area? Think about that for a second. Thousands. Thousands. The people that live in my area that I want to sell to, where do they get their coffee in the morning before they go to work? Thousands of them, right? Not necessarily the big Dunkin' Donuts or the Starbucks, but the coffee shops, the ones that are growing. So can you be my local pizzeria for now?
Sure.
As an example, which was
Yeah.
Yeah. So I create a page right now called The Best of Annapolis. And this is truthfully what I would do, because I don't know anybody in Annapolis. Hi Deb, my name is Jeff Lobb. WCR Realty. Is that real? Today, I'm WCR Realty. Listen, I live in town. I have a Facebook page called The Best of Annapolis, and I'm out seeking some of the best local businesses to promote to my real estate audience where they should be shopping and eating and all this stuff. I think you've done a fantastic job here. How many years have you been in the business? 11 years. I would love to highlight you on my Facebook page to all my real estate clients and hopefully drive some new business to you. Would you be okay with that?
Absolutely.
Right? So what I'd love to do is when you're done with lunch, all that stuff, take some pictures. I'd love for you to show me around, do a quick interview, and I'll push it to my page and then I'll share it with you and you can push it to your clients. But I sell a lot of real estate and I figured let's give them a good place to go and find new places to shop and eat. Who would say no? Right? What's the whole game plan here? Prospecting. I want to get to know her. You know why? I know she knows a lot of people. A lot more than I do. She has a network and a sphere. She knows the people downtown. She knows all the people in town hall. She had to deal with all the permits. She knows everybody. She knows all the local businesses in the strip mall. I just want to get to know her. And I probably know already she probably knows 3 other real estate agents, but I don't care. So I get to highlight you. So whether it's a simple thing as simple as a photo of you and I make a post, tag her in it, she shares it to her page, and we can kind of do that whole thing. The goal is then I go back and I go have lunch there and I go see her again. Because truthfully, this happened in my world where it's not just one, it's how many more can I do that with, right? My reality was the first time I'd said pizzeria, because it was my first prospecting appointment, was testing a pizzeria, a young owner. Still to this day, I know them well. And literally, his first words were like, "Oh, it sounds great, but how much?" I'm like, "Oh, no." And I didn't have really a good answer scripted for that, but I just said, "Oh, no, we don't charge for this. I sell a lot of homes in the area, and I just want to promote awesome businesses. And I've been eating your food. I think you do a great job in the catering. I just want to make sure I send my real estate clients to you. So I just want to highlight you." That's cool. Right? Give value first. And then it turned out what happened was after a couple more visits, and next thing you know, he knows on a first name basis, and have lunch there. It's like, "Hey, my real estate guy's here," and like he would just be that vocal, young Italian kid. And then he calls me one day. He's like, "Hey, I got an opportunity to do some sponsorship for we're going to be the caterer for all the baseball teams in town. They're going to ask us to do all the kids work. You want to do some, joint sponsoring together?" Yeah. So we split banners together, and then we did other stuff. Then he started introducing me to it became a partnership. That was just one. If I have a Best of Annapolis, how many local businesses can I go talk to? And then really, am I that intimidated to offer that value to her? Is that intimidating?
No.
It's not that bad. Could I do that now anywhere? Yeah, right? But not everyone's going to do it. Not everyone's going to do it. But if I had to start over today, right now, start selling real estate, that'd be one of the places I start. Because at least I start knowing people. And then I start asking her, "Hey, what other great businesses do you think I should talk to? Like introduce me to some others. Now you become a resource to me. It's part of the referral. It's part of how people work. So here comes this guy that says, I'm gonna even take it to the extreme. And imagine if Deb and I then took it to the next level and I said, hey, you know what, I'm gonna bring my guy back, he shoots a video. We'll do a whole video thing together. This is what this guy does for Fres Yes.
I'm back in downtown Fresno today. I'm trying barbecue. And let's face it, we're Fresno, so this is Tri-Tip. Today, I have the treat of trying the People's Choice of the Tri-Tip Program.
Right before lunch, too.
Let's do this.
I'm Jason Ferris, owner of Fres Yes Realty, and I've lived in Fresno all my life. Join me as I visit some of the best food spots 559 has to offer. This is Fresno Flavor.
Now, a little production value here.
Just the tip of the iceberg. Smoked turkey, pulled pork, and pastrami bring the heat for meat lovers of all types. These delicious meats, along with your sides and salads, are all made from scratch every day. Owner Mariah serves her lunchtime regulars, walk-in and delivery customers, competition-ready barbecue throughout the work week. I'm excited to grill her and learn more about this awesome establishment.
Mariah, thank you so much for allowing me to come in today. I really appreciate it.
I'm excited too, so.
Just a tip. Where did the name come from? Give us some little history.
So the previous owners, they had the building on a visitor on Tuolumne, and so it was kind of the tip of a triangle, looked kind of like a block of cheese.
I know that building.
A couple of bottles of wine, a couple of glasses of gin one night, and they decided, well, let's name it just the tip. We're selling Tri-Tip, right?
But do we sell just Tri-Tip here?
I sell smoked turkey, we do pulled pork, which is one of our more popular items as well. I do salads.
Now, while that might look good, I'm gonna interrupt in a second just because of timing. You go on Fres Yes and take a look at all his videos. He took it to the extreme. Now, that could just been a photo and a snapshot of a post. He went a level deeper. Now, if he did one of those a week, say one a week, do you know how many people get to know him in town? It becomes almost like he has his own television show. He created his own theme. Other than some video production costs, it's really just him sitting with the owner, asking her about like her business and what the name and what else do you serve here. Do you think she valued that? God, right? So she's probably gotten so much value out of it, it became an extreme thing. So these are things that people are doing with the same Facebook page you have access to, the same cost, which is nothing, and this is how they're leveraging the page in order to bring it back to a business level. So it's not like we all have things that are unequal. Same page, same creation, just did something different with it, right? So that's one way. Now, I'll go past this one. So then became one of our clients out of a brokerage. It was a team now brokerage in Jupiter, Florida, called Echo-Fine Properties. And we started trying into some video strategies. They wanted to get more video heavy. How do we get their agents engaged in video? So we took the same theme. How do we script it a little bit? It's not even fancy, because you'll see the agent that's doing this interview. He's kind of a young kid. Just talking about the say. Say, go find a couple good local businesses you want to support, that you think have a good network and a good sphere, someone that deserves a good boost in business, right? And he went out and sought this gentleman. You'll see in a second. Now, the interview goes a little bit long. I told him, listen, we're learning curve. Let's make them shorter. But the goal was, as a brokerage, or how do we just get two agents did two, and this agent did two? The brokerage builds up a level of content in the community that builds the whole population of what you're doing as a brokerage and a culture, right? So here was his little interview. But just watch how simple it is, and watch how sometimes you can't assume who the depth of their knowledge and their database goes. So here's this solo entrepreneur out there hustling every day. Watch who he knows.
Hey everyone out there, this is Brian Smalley with Echo-Fine Properties down here in sunny South Florida. I'm here with my good friend Sean Mosley with SNA Mobile Detailing. Sean, tell me a little bit about yourself. What got you into this business?
I started this business almost 10 years ago. I saw that there was a need for people who really have a desire for having their vehicles professionally auto detailed, their homes pressure cleaning, and they wanted the top-notch customer service, and that's what we love to provide to customers throughout Palm Beach County. We want to bring the best service, the best customer service, and to see the customer satisfied is what we desire. We do a wide range of things. We do automobiles, we do recreational vehicles, we do boats, we do planes, we clean homes, roofs, we do large contracts, big commercial vehicles. We also do tile and grout. We're going to expand to carpet cleaning soon. Back when I first started, I was young. I didn't really know too much about it. I did do a lot of studying of the understanding of what detailing really meant. Sure. And then I came across someone, as you all may know. His name is 50 Cent. And I did about 3 of his vehicles down at his office down in Boca. They have a company called SMS Headphones, and he has some very nice exotic type of vehicles that I did so he can have them ready for a photo shoot. I did a Ferrari 458 California edition. I did a Lamborghini Aventador, which is very nice. And I take pride in all of the work that I do. I don't measure a job as big or small.
So here's our agent that goes out and just does a quick interview. Guy's a solo entrepreneur, hustling out there, looking for a little boost in business. Has a database that he probably doesn't know how to understand and take advantage of his database, but has a good depth of contacts. They took this video. Now here's what happened. This guy was so excited because let's face it, he's out there grinding every day. He doesn't have necessarily marketing skills. He's doing his job.
Right.
So combined was they made the post and something by accident happened. I can't even take credit for it. I wish I could. So when they made the post, they posted on his page, and what he did as a smart, he said, I'm gonna now share it, but he tagged all of his personal friends and family. And because he was, look, this was like a beautiful third-party video testimonial of this guy that he never even thought to make himself. And here's what happened. We had 123 shares in the first 15 hours, and almost 3,000 views of that video alone. It did in 24 hours. So whether even he used it as a promotion or not, like remember, it's not lead gen like he's gonna make the phone ring and come list my house. But this is something now, like this gentleman now feels like, wow, this guy really stepped in and helped me. How else can we do more business together? How can I refer you in business? Like, let's partner together. And guess what? Maybe he's showing up at Ecofine Properties doing cars, and maybe he's referring like, hey, I got a guy that owns a boat, he needs a power wash. Like it becomes a joint thing. Now guess what? I have an extension of my sales team. But this is value first. Give value first. Remember, video, don't get intimidated. Yes, there's a lot of production in there, but not necessarily a fancy idea. Same business page we all have, right? If he just did that once a month with a business owner as an agent, his business will grow, right? Same. So I want you to think about how else to use your page. And let's not get stuck on how they change the algorithms, because we can't change that. And whether we spend money or not, these are things we can do for free that leverage the name of the page and how you execute it, okay? Some thinking, some thoughts. Here's the mistake I don't want you to make, because it happened. So let's just get it right out now. Is a friend of ours in our community said, Jeff, I'm gonna go do this, this is awesome. Set her out on 6 months, she went out and did this, and said, check back with me, showed me the page all out. She came back, she was so proud of her page. She had all these cool like businesses and restaurants, and I said, okay, let's go over it. So she started telling me. So I'm like, wow, you went through a big area. Like she didn't make it like about the town, she went like county-wide, she went pretty wide. So I'm like, you were out there quite a bit, you were hustling. I said, when did you get time to talk to all those people? She said, what do you mean? I was just like finding cool stuff about the community and posting stuff. She just sat behind a computer and found cool restaurants and places to post about. I'm like, no. It's not about making a post. I can sit behind my computer and post stuff. I can post listings and I can post a cool restaurant I like. Does anybody care about me? No, the whole value was going to Devin, shaking hands and doing this whole thing and getting to know you, and that was the whole value proposition, not posting. That's the challenge. So I have to make this silly little meal. Like it's never about the post, it's about the people in the post. You gotta go connect with them. So guess what she did for the next 3 months? She went back to I said, look, you got a cool list of people. I want you to go meet that restaurant owner. You can still spin it. Hey, I built a page on the best of whatever, and I wanted to highlight your restaurant. As a matter of fact, I posted about it already. I'd love to get some pictures about it and share it with my real estate audience. Anybody brand new in the room or fairly new in the room that hasn't sold a lot of real estate yet? Good. So mature group here. Anybody have agents in your office that are new? They might get intimidated with this. Just tell them to take I to we. We sell a lot of real estate in this area, and they can go out and do the same thing, because they will make every excuse not to go do something. So we sell a lot of real estate in the area, and we want to make sure we promote you across our brokerage and all the people that we sell real estate to. Are you interested in talking about it? So just I to we, leverage the power of your brand and brokerage. I don't care if you're 2 people or 200 people. There's no excuse not to do it, so let's cut it out, right? So that's about it. It's about the people. Go connect with them. All right, so I'm getting down to the wire. I know lunch is creeping 10 minutes. Let's shift gears and talk about another strategy of connecting with people, maybe in a way different than you're used to. Now, some of you might have said, sitting here looking and going, oh, I tried that company, I tried this thing. I want to talk about retargeting. I want to talk about retargeting differently. First of all, let's define it. So those who don't know, retargeting, it's like you're shopping on Amazon, or you're shopping on Amazon, you can buy something, right? What do y'all like to shop for online? What's your favorite thing? What's your go-to?
Shoes.
Shoes, right? I brought my sparkles for y'all today. Shoes and purses, right? Shoes and bags. Clothes. So I'm going to shop for shoes. I like Cole Haan. I'm shopping. But guess what? I didn't buy the Cole Haans right now. So for the next 7 months of my life, Cole Haan will follow me around every place I go. I could be looking at, like, here comes the hurricane into Maryland, and there's Cole Haan. Like, on the Weather Channel, it's on CNN, it doesn't care, it's putting the shoes in front of me. That's pretty good marketing. Like, think about it. Television can't do that. Dish Network can't do that. Now, here's the problem. Here's the mistakes we made. And I personally use it, and I'll tell you how I use it, but I use it with the right intent and the right understanding. That's why I'm here to talk about it differently. This isn't something you just sign up and set it, forget it. Or you could, but your expectations are wrong, right? So when I use AdWorks, and I understand that it'll create an ad for me for all different platforms, for web, for mobile, for Facebook, because it will cover Facebook. But the benefit of good retargeting is it will take my ad and have it populate on major websites where my customers are. How does it know my customers? The ones I choose. By area, by zip code, or my database. However, I want you to think about this differently. What's the perception of my ad populating in front of people when it's on, like, the New York Times? They don't know I didn't pay for it to be on the New York Times. They just see, hey, there's that guy Jeff. Oh my God. And then they're on CNN, or they're on something else. They're on Yahoo News, they're on the sports page. And there's that guy Jeff again. Jeff is following you around all over the place. And guess what? I'm not even a pop-up ad. They can't get rid of me. You can't X me out. I'm there on the page, right? You ever seen these ads? So you see retargeting. The question is how do we use it and understand it. So to me, the value of having this kind of ad on those pages is where it's at. There's 3 different types of strategies, though, that I want to share with you. One is for your sphere, right? Your sphere, your database. When's the last time you talked to your entire database? Never. Like, you might talk to 10 of them or 20 of them, maybe 30 of them. But when's the last time you really talked to them? When's the last time you really saw them? And you know this feeling for those who've been in business a while. You sold a home, and 5 to 6 or 7 years later, you're driving down the street, and there's a sign on the wall, and it's not yours. That's not a good feeling. I used to be so angry. I used to be so mad. And I'd be like, you know, after I got done with my little venting to myself, ultimately, I'm mature enough to know that it was just my fault. It was my fault. I didn't do my job. You know what? I expected digital marketing and digital content to replace being human. I felt, as some of you might feel, that because I sent them stuff every month, or they got some digital, I'm going to call it digital junk mail, like some new thing or something I send them. Look, how many of you get junk mail in your inbox every day? Like every day, all day. Like, it's just crap. And yet sometimes we send it to our customers and think it's going to stay connected to them. Like, sometimes it doesn't make sense. However, in 5 to 7 years, I really stopped talking. Like, I never talked to them again. I might have seen them once or twice, but I lost the relationship. So how do I stay in front of them? So if I took my database and I uploaded it into, I use the AdWords platform, uploaded it to the platform, it will drop my ad in front of them when they're online. Now I think AdWords is even offering a package where they can, it's smart, they'll get, they have now, and don't hold me to it, but I just saw them recently at an event, they can now take my ad, not only drop it in front of the client when they're there, they're now connected with streaming content, like you're watching Hulu or Netflix, and then between the little commercial pops up, there's like a Jeff Lobb now, I can now be populating in streaming content, which is kind of a new strategy for them, because now they know, remember, it's follow the attention of the consumer. Where are the consumers, and where do I have to be in front of them? So to me, it's the Sphere platform where I can upload all of my Sphere and stay in front of them. Is that going to be an instant gratification, though? No, it's not. And here's where people fail. They sign up for it, 6 months later go, yeah, cancel it, it's junk, I didn't get anything from it. What did you expect to get from it? Did you expect the phone to ring? Do people drive by the billboard on the highway, pull over to the side of the road and go, I'm calling from the billboard, I want you to list my house? They don't do that. They see you, they see you, they see you, they see you. Every day, every week. That's part of the, you have to understand, it's a strategy, but it's not giving you that Amazon effect. It's not giving you that now stuff. However, it's still valuable because I'm not talking to them anyway. The ads for listings is my more magical one. Let me see if I have this one. So here's the strategy for ads for listings. Normally the way it goes is you get a listing, upload it to them, they may get an ad, and they will run an ad with that listing on all the major platforms within like a 16 or 18 mile radius around the house. So it gets a lot of go. Do you see direct phone calls from it? Or sometimes you get a phone call, you don't even know where it's from. You don't know. You answer the phone, hey, I'm calling about a house. You don't know if they drove by it, signed call, you don't know. Here's the problem. That might work, but that's not how I use it. See, every week when you get a listing like this, let's use this as an example, you get these screenshots. They send you, hey, here's an example of where your listing was, right? Like a PDF file. Make sense, right? So you get one every week, or several a week. Meanwhile, if your customer's email address is in the account, they're going to be seeing their house when they're searching online too. Like, they're reading the paper that day online, and there's their listing with you on it. That's good too. But let's say I had these screenshots right here. That one, or that one, and that's a house. That's my listing. I use it to win listings. I go on every listing appointment that I want to win. And I would say, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, and Jeff Lobb at WCR Realty. And we have, besides all the marketing we showed you in our marketing analysis, we also have the power of taking your home and promoting it across major sites like ESPN and the Weather Channel and USA Today. And we spend a lot of money marketing your home across these platforms to potential buyers. When you want your home on USA Today and Wall Street Journal and all those other places? Did the other people you interviewed offer you that? So I told AdWords, quite frankly, very direct. I said, I would have, me personally, I'm being very transparent, I would have that product myself, not just to promote the listings after I get them, but I wouldn't care if I ever got a phone call ever from it. If I can use it to win listings and differentiate me for $100 a month or whatever it costs me, I'm in. All day, because I can sell that. And the customers want that. And they get to see themselves, and it's a true product. Like, think about it. How else would you get your listing on MSNBC? Or Yahoo Sports? How would you get it there? No, I can't afford that. This is a platform that allows it. Most people they sign up for it, expect magic, get no phone calls that they can chalk up to it and go, cancel it. See, that's not how I do it. I want to win business with it because it's a tool that consumers want. Looking at eyeballs. Was there a question back there? You had your hand up a little bit?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions.
All right, let's try one and then we can catch the rest of the other ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Be the best one.
The Facebook pages, is it okay to have multiple theme ones, or should you just focus on one theme?
Okay, and I was going to say hold that for a second, we'll go here, but let me just answer that real quick. The answer is yes, you can have multiple themes, but try not to because it's a lot of work. Get one to work really well is enough work probably to get started. It sounds good to have all these different websites for like different towns. One is a lot of work. Start there. But I don't want to lose focus. I'll answer those questions for you. Let me just get through to our lunch break. So, retargeting. Does it make sense to retarget, right? So we have to understand how we're going to use it. To me, that's my favorite. That's how I use it. And then AdWords loved it, so they started creating a marketing package for agents to understand how to do that. That's how I unbox things, right? That's how I. So that's retargeting. So I'm going to share with you guys a bonus, which you might already have used. If you want, I just want to share with you some other ways you might not be thinking of. But to wrap up just for lunch, two things. Photos. Still really bad. A lot of them, right? It's like shocking that there's still people taking bad photos. With all the devices and photographers, you still have them in your MLS that are pretty bad. Like, it's just amazing how some people take, or it's like, that's not the best photo. See, to me in this world, and we have teenagers, let's just watch how this works. If you have teenagers, do you ever watch teenager on Instagram, or you women on Instagram? How quick are their thumbs? But think about the consumer now on Zillow. I'm on lunch break and I'm on Zillow looking at houses.
Yeah.
Is that true? How much time do you have to stop my thumbs?
1 second.
2 or 3 seconds, maybe, right? Ah, that house. That picture better be the most magical picture. I don't care about all the rest yet. What stops my thumb? That's how I have to think today. Stop my thumb. So I need one photo that's going to be magical, right? So I like to always show a few bad photos first. These are some drive-bys in Florida. Drive-by. Oreo. BBO photos. On the MLS though. These are MLS photos, by the way. There's not even going to get out of the car. Well, I shouldn't say that. We shouldn't assume it's a BPO. Let's not make that assumption. This was in the MLS for a listing. So these were out of the MLS. But yeah, that was only, right? It's hard. There's in Louisiana, there's some funky pool. Right? Classic pool.
Vacant property. Jason doesn't check.
Private swamp.
You know what? Investor paradise.
Private swamp. I don't understand what those agents think.
Enjoy your pool. Relax.
So you need better photos. I don't want to edit anything. Some of you probably heard about Box Brownie. They've been around a while now, the past 2 years. Box Brownie. Oh, yeah. But here's some things that they've added, some things that you may not know they do. So box browning, obviously, will take your photo 24 to 48 hours and turn it around back to you with whatever you ask them to do. Like, make it a twilight photo. Now, I'm not saying this replaces your photographer, but you may not want your photographer to stick around and do a sunset photo or a twilight photo or something magical. So let me just share with you a couple ideas of what it can do so you understand how you should be looking at it after your photographer gets done. So they'll do some virtual staging. Now, some people I like real staging, I get it, but there might be one of those rooms or apartments that you don't want to spend on staging, you can get virtually done, right? Just disclose in the agent remarks that it's virtually staged, so you don't, when they get there, they don't think the house got robbed, and where do the furniture go? They'll do before and after and add light, like really nice and simple. This was like $1.60 enhancement, like that to that. This is thumb stopper right here. That's a thumb stopper. So you get something like that. That twilight, sunset, day to dusk for like $4. That would be my front for Zillow. That'd be my front for MLS. That's my open house brochure. That's the photo, right? They'll remove clutter now. I don't know if you know that. They'll take clutter off of things. Clutter, get it out. Look at, see, there's always a tip in here. They'll remove clutter. They removed an old, broken down, trailer, motorhome. Things that was flat tires, the thing wouldn't drive, and they removed it from the photo of the front of the house.
They do borders really well.
They do what? Borders? Borders.
Yeah.
They'll create a room scene for you, so if you say, hey, I got a kid's room, but I want to see what it looked like as a bedroom, they'll do a custom one for you. This was a project we won. Check this out. So we had a bank opportunity for 16 homes, one of our clients. And we said, okay, we got to do our best pitch, market analysis for the bank and marketing. So we put together a marketing package. We partnered with our Family First group and said, give me investor loans that we can get investors to close on these properties. So we put together marketing, investor portfolios from the bank, from our Family First, and then we went to Box Brown and said, give me what these will look like when they're done so we can show them how the community will look after them. And they gave us that. Wow. So we had 3 things in a row. My marketing, our financing's in place for investor loans, and here's 4 options they can close, and here's what it's going to look like when we get investors to be done. Yeah. Pretty cool, right? Now that might have cost $80 or $100 to get. We did 2 of them. I think we did 2 of them, but it turned out really well. So it was a way to be outside the box with other agents. All the other agents were talking to the banks about, we're one of the biggest brokerages in the area. We have the most market share. Okay, cool. But here's how I'm going to get your home sold. Right? Marketing, money, community.
Who decides on the final product?
You talk to them about what you want. On the form, you'll tell them you want, if you're staging a home, you want country furniture, like you have a whole bunch of selections to pick from. Nothing's perfect. They're operating all over the country now. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'll tell you what, it's for whether you're spending $4 or $40. I'm going to give you guys $20 to go spend for free. Just go to their site, type in my company name, Spark Tank. It'll give you a $20 credit to just go try some stuff. I really believe in that stuff because I think it's, like, again, that one thumb-stopping photo to make it better will help you get more traction. Okay? So before we break, write that down, I'll be here all day. So before we break for lunch, did you get a few ideas? Yeah. Did you get a few ideas?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, we're going to eat soon. We'll get some coffee because when we come back this afternoon, we've got some lead gen ideas. What's the biggest problem of all this stuff?
You gotta do it.
We have to go to work. My biggest pet peeve, Tom knows this, knows this, Barbara knows this, all these good ideas, I'm going to go back to work and do nothing. I want you to pick one. I want you to know that after we're done today, that this type of stuff doesn't stop. Like, I would love to talk to you guys every day, and some people in coaching clients I talk to every week. However, some of this training keeps evolving. So I want you guys to understand that not only will we be happy to share my slides, Barbara will have a PDF document of all my slides. My training portfolio, my videos of other stuff is in a library, which quite frankly, in other markets, I charge for. So I make some money, right? It's a subscription. Family First Funding and since we partnered, have all of my videos in their platform for free. They will give you access to it. Okay? But it's on a relationship basis. Go talk to them, get the access code. It's a free code. We ask you to go share it with everybody because they didn't spend their time with us today. It's a thank you from us and them to say, we know it doesn't stop with a one shot and go. Right? So we want you to know that there'll be a training portfolio, there'll be a flyer that'll show you how to log into it. You click the button, you get the password, and it's training that will be videos of me sharing these strategies and others that you might need to refresh yourself. Or, hey, how do I use Instagram? I got a 3-series thing on how do I use Instagram. What's that silly hashtag mean? It's all there. So that kind of stuff, we want you to know the value continues to give value first in hopes to maybe earn some business, right? So while I do this for a living, it's a partnership we created because it's ongoing. So make sure before you guys leave, or we're going to hear this afternoon too, just give them your cards. It has an email address because email is the best way to deliver all this stuff. You'll get the PDF from this morning, and you'll get the login information to the training platform if you want it. You don't have to have it. If you want it, it's yours. Just go do something and execute it. And if I could, Barbara's in the back, right? Sam Barber, you saw her earlier, right? And if I can help you with anything else in coaching stuff too, I'll talk about my Coach 52 platform at another time, but we help coach agents all over the place, so we can help there, onward. But let's go have some lunch. I'll see you this afternoon for top lead gen strategies. And I know you guys are gonna have a meeting, so let me, you guys step up. Thank you guys.